Assalamu everybody. I just wanted to make a little video about how to braid corn if anyone was interested. This is most of my seed corn here. I'm going to start with which corn to save. The white corn in general you save, well you keep with the characteristics of the corn. This white corn, its characteristics are that it's long, has 8 rows, and you don't want any discoloration, like if you grow close to other corn, you don't want any yellow kernels, you don't want any kernels from other corn. Crossbreeds very easily, so when you're growing you want to keep it away from other corns, and when you're seed saving you want to save the corn that keeps the traits of the corn that you're growing. So this is a kind of good example. Long corn, 8 rows. The rows are kind of uniform, and you have the kernels growing right to the end. You don't really want to save something like this where it's not fully developed. But I didn't have much of a selection of corn to choose from this year, so this will be one of the best. You want to grow at least, if you're seed saving too, you want to grow at least 200 plants and save between the best of the best 100 plants. Alright, so I'm going to start by taking 2 corn and tying them together. If you know how to braid, it's pretty easy. You put your 3rd corn, and you have your 3 strands. If you're used to braiding over the middle, except here, you don't have much to work with, so you keep adding corn as you go. Add. Bring it over. Add a corn. Bring it over. You could add one here in the middle. Bring it over. Add to the side. Bring it over. Add to the other side. And etc. until you got a whole long braid. Normally you can braid maybe about 70 corn in one braid. Then it becomes kind of too heavy and can't really handle it too easily, but that's about it for that. And then just leave this one, and then I'll go to this one. Alright, so here I have a small braid of small corn that I had left over. I'll just show you how to finish up the braid up top. You can see I have all my corn braided. It's maybe about 40 corn, so 70 you're talking about a braid like that. So I have all my corn braided here. I have my 3 strands. Now to tie it off, instead of continuing by adding corn, I'm just going to add husk to keep the braid going. And the idea here is to keep adding the husk until you have a long enough piece to bring back to make like a loop, so you can hang it on something so it can dry properly. Normally you pick your white corn when the husks start turning brown, when it starts drying, and then you can dry it for another additional couple months until it's ready to be shelled. When it's ready to be shelled, you just take your 2 hands, rub them back and forth, and the kernel should come off pretty easily. So keep adding here until I think it's long enough. Also, when you're braiding your corn, if you don't want the husk to be too dry, or else it's going to crack and it won't be strong enough. So if your husk is too dry, you can always dip it in water while you're braiding. I try to braid up my corn right after I pick it, that way the husk is still a little moist and it braids up nicely. A little bit more and then it should be long enough. After it's all braided up, you can hang it outside. Just keep an eye on the chipmunks and the birds, because if you leave it to chipmunks or squirrels, they'll strip a whole braid in about a week if you don't keep your eye on it. So it's good to hang it up outside, because of the air circulates well and doesn't go moldy or anything. Just keep an eye on it. If you hang it up inside, just hang it up in a nice dry place. If you have a stove, next to the stove is good. It'll dry nicely. Alright, so there I have a long enough section that I can double back on. So I take my 3 strands, just make it into 2. I bring it back. So you're going to make a loop. And so it doesn't slip or anything, I go past one corn. Take my 2 strands, just tie it off like that. Tie it a second time. If you don't have enough husk, just take a bit more husk and tie it around or something. Improvise. There you have it. That's nice and strong. You can hang up on a hook or on a branch or something outside. And that's about it. Okay, Onenhakén.